Sorry to keep you a little waiting. I was in a rehearsal, and I'll leave that a little later. But I think without further ado, you guys have had a long day, and I'm sure I don't want to keep you for longer. It's a good evening. You should go out, party, and tell your parents that you're still at GEC because it ended at 10:30. Go for dinner or something. I just will tell you this much though. I was a little afraid. I was a little afraid because I had heard a lot about Salman, read a lot about him, read what he had written. And finally, thank you all for arranging this pleasure of being able to hear Salman and be in that community. He is truly a living legend in Pakistan we should be proud of and really inspire ourselves. And if any inspiration you A-level students want to take, stop crying over A's and B's, okay? Stop doing that. But following that act would have been tough, but then following the musicians, not as tough, but pretty good. You guys can sing, believe it or not. Okay, let me just get straight to it. I was invited last year for GEC and I thought, you know what, let me sell what I can really sell. Let me sell what I really believe. And I will be doing the same thing a bit tonight, as the saying would go. I wanted to talk about creative thinking, but I didn't get a better, more creative title than creativity on the net. So I got creativity instead. But really, everything that I'm going to talk about is about creative thinking. First, of course, by courtesy, introduce myself to you if the technology allows me. There you go. The million rupee question that मेरे ससुराल भी पूछते रहते हैं कि लड़का आपका क्या है? 7-8 में मेरी शादी को भी पूछते हैं क्या करते हैं? So I thought, forget about that. I'll tell you what I actually do. I am currently trying to press this button. I am currently the Vice President of Debating Society in Pakistan. Founding member of Actors Association of Pakistan, which does absolutely nothing. I'm a professional management trainer, which helps people do something. I'm an actor to whom people do something. And then I've got 45 plays at film. But of late, जो recently मेरा ज़्यादा focus रहा है around this creation is the fact that in the climate that we are in today, most appropriately, I promote jihad. And if you're wondering what that means, I really am a drama teacher. Okay? We have introduced O-level drama to Pakistan. For the first time ever, one of these 3 LGSs has actually had 7 wonderful ladies be the first batch graduating with O-level drama the last summer. And LGS 11, that is. And LGS 11's first batch of the country, and hopefully JT should follow, is and others, has had very appropriately 1 A star, 4 A's, and appropriately to Shakespeare 2 B's, or not 2 B's. But in this particular case, I want you to give a challenge to you. I have always been admired by students, but frankly speaking, I admire students more than anything else. The talent that I have seen in students has been immeasurable. However, I have always felt that they've been robbed of opportunities. Guess what? I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm saying to all O-level students of Lahore, if you want to study drama, contact me in the end and we'll take care of it. I'm giving you one more challenge because I know there's some parents and faculty members here as well. I challenge you to introduce O-level music. Guess what? It exists. Karachi has started it. I think Lahore should be back with these beautiful voices playing the music. But let's get back to it. The reason I'm over here is because I'm going to sell drama to you. That's right. Last year I talked at length about inquiry. This button is really going to be the last of me. Curiosity. How curiosity is actually the cause of all evolution of mankind. Today I want to talk about creative thinking. I'm going to be very destructive thinking. That's right. So creative thinking is what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to get more about what skills we have to offer. That's not appropriate. Problem solving. Alright? Problem solving is a life skill that drama suggests to you, and reasoning as well. Now problem solving is something that happens everyday life. आज ये जोड़ा पहनूं, ये वो जोड़ा पहनूं, इसके साथ ये लेस लगाओ, इसके साथ वो लेस लगाओ, इस बच्ची का फोन चेक करो, उस बच्ची का फोन चेक करो. You have screamed because you proved you never get that opportunity. Right? Then comes the reasoning. Reasoning was best taught to me by my house help. एक लड़का था हमारे घर काम करता था, मुराद नाम से. मुराद को कहता, मुराद ये क्यों किया? That used to piss me off. यार बिना वजह कुछ नहीं होता, क्यों किया? I didn't. But it made me realize, I want you to realize, is the fact that we never realize that there's always a reason behind what we do. And we never focus on it. So I want you to find out why we do things, because we do them. Yeah. Working with others, I don't need to say more about it. There's no I in the word team, management cliche. But you guys have already practiced that today. I heard that word and I smiled. Collaboration. Thank you very much for giving an absolute actual practice of collaboration. And you'll realize what collaboration is a life skill that you will always need. If you don't believe me, realize how you need to work with others. Speaking of marriage, communication. Now communication is something obviously drama's going to teach you, right? And I'm teaching it as well. But something that we probably do not understand how important it is. How important is communication? Let me ask you a question. Verbal communication's importance. In percentage terms, how important do you think is verbal communication? 100%. Yeah, of course, he's a debater. Anything else? Any other numbers? Do I hear another number? 10%. That's Zardari's sister sitting over there. Anything else? 47.9. You tell them to waist size or 10.9%? Sorry? 101. ये radio station बताना शुरू हो गए भाई. 100% पे 100. Now we're getting variations, but I want you to realize non-verbal communication is approximately 80 to 90% of all communication. Verbal communication is 5%, so 4.9 is close to it, if you work with it. 5%. And yet we take it for granted. We take more things for granted. And this is number 7. Ability to improve our life. अगर सारी कहानी जुस में निकाल के आपको बताऊं, मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग में भी मैं कहता हूं, this is what we want to learn. A great trainer once said, how do you define the illiterate of the 21st century? He said, not one who cannot read or write. 21वीं सदी की चाहे की बात होगी. How do you define it? You define them by one who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. To learn, unlearn, and relearn. ये काबिलियत आप लोग की सदी की है. हमारी सदी से पिछले वालों की नहीं. But you can see uncle, dada, chacha, mama, daya is very good with technology. Like, यार तेरा daya बड़ा cool है. वो मेरा pro तो बिल्कुल नहीं कर सकता. हमारा वो old fashioned है. But your daya is cool because he's able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And then of course, आखिरी skill. ये मेरे नजदीक रूह है इस जहाद में. तज्जिया. ड्रामा जिस तरह आप लोग समझ रहे हैं वो नहीं. ड्रामा है उसका तज्जिया और उसके ऊपर फिर अमल करना. Well, let me get into creative thinking because I think a lot of people are chatting away, so they're probably going to get bored. Let's talk about creative thinking. First of all, let me set the premise of what creative thinking is. Oops, kahan ja raha hai? Hello? Okay, I got it. Simma. I feel like God over here. Alright. Now the first question we usually ask is, what is creativity? I got it. I don't got it. You got it. Alright. What is creativity? Creativity को समझने के लिए I would like to take on the basic ground to create. क्या होगा? The reason why I believe creative thinking is what I want to talk about, not creating. Because, and in my normal fashion, I'm not going to give you a lecture on it. I'm going to tell you a different story. The story over here belongs to, and this is part blasphemous, a man who talks to God. A man who goes to God and says, God, we don't need you anymore. And God says, really? Okay, God, please speak. Really? Why do you say that? Man says, because for we, the apex of all creation, Ashraful Makhluqat, can now create everything from scratch. God says, really? Why don't you show me then? Man says, okay, let me pick up some sand. God says, get your own sand. I want you to realize. I want you to realize, in the words of Goethe, the great German philosopher, thinker, writer, Goethe, everything has been thought of before. The problem is to think of it again. Accept it. Mark down that we are not the ultimate creators. The ultimate creator is someone else. We're not the ultimate. So what is creative thinking? That's what it is. It is an economics problem. It's a view that you've been given and said, no, isse jo tu bana sakte ho, bana de. It's God saying to us. So it's not an act. It's a way you think. That's what creative thinking is. The ability to use different modes of